Now let's look at format. When you click on format, you will see lock, link to tool, group, flip order, font, paragraph, image, page, theme, and the bottom F properties with an F4 beside, which means you can hit your F4 function key for your properties. Let's go ahead and look at what lock is. What lock will allow you to do is to select an object, come up here, go to lock, and say lock in place, which means the object can't be moved. However, there are other options you do have with lock. As you can see, you have lock in place, allow vertical move, which means it can move vertically and vertically only, allow horizontal move, which means it can only move horizontally, allow move, which means it can be moved but won't be allowed to be deleted, or allow move and rotate. What these two will do is set it up so that if you're using this as part of an activity, that Apple could not be accidentally deleted out. That's what all these actually are for. This just locks the moves in that you may want to make, and these allow greater movement. Now, an interesting thing about lock is you don't necessarily have to go up there with tools to do it. You can click right here, and you've got the same things that you can choose as you had there, and the lock tool is right here. So either way is easier, and as I've been saying over and over, it's always easier to right click when you're working with stuff. Okay, link to tool. Now this is a very interesting one, and what this will do is if I select this and I come back to format, link to tool, and say I choose pen, if I click on this, it gives me the ability to bring up the pen. I can change that. We'll note that we'll also get into as we work with stuff. Now you've had the pens up, or anything with the shapes, such as the shapes or polygons, lines, paint, or whatever, you always need to come back and click on the select, get your cursor back, and that way it won't continue to write and do what the last function was that you had it doing. Now, one thing with this feature is that it is only found here under format, the link to tool. So if you want to remove that feature, select it, come back over here under format, link to tool, and tell it none. You can also add selection tool, and you can also add, you saw the eraser, and it will do the same thing. Also under format, you will find group. What this does is it allows you to group things together. Let's take, say for instance, I want these two to be part of a group together. Move this over here. I can select and select. I did that select by holding control and clicking on it so I can have both. You can also select by dragging over both of them. And I click on group, and these two are now considered one object. Now I can come back and I can split that up by selecting both of them again, going to format, and going back on tools until I get ungroup. Now one thing about this is I've been pointing out, yet again, right click, and there's your group function here. Okay, moving down next on tools, format, sorry. We go to flip. What this will allow you to do is to flip an object around. With the object selected, I go to flip, left, right, up, down, and it turns it upside down. The same function is also found by right clicking. Okay. The next is order. What you have to do is think of your layers like you were laying things on top of each other. Whatever you put on top is what will show. Now I want to go ahead and I'm going to say for this, send it back. Now it's behind the apple. With that being behind the apple, one thing you can do is select the apple and move it to make it appear. Or, yet again, you can change your order and send it to back and bring that up. All depends what you want to do. If you're creating a lot of different activities, one of the things that most people like to do is create reveal games. If you want to create a reveal, simply click Order, bring the front. Since I'm on the apple, it's on the front now, and have things behind it. Really easy to do. I will show you more on doing that in the creation section, which will be in Unit 2. I'm bringing ideas to life. So, got that. Also under Format, when we come back, you've got Font, Paragraph. Font and Paragraph are also found by coming over here, clicking on A, bring your text up. And then when you do that, you have all those choices here. One thing with it here on Format, I wouldn't bother trying to use those. It's a lot easier to work from here. However, there are a few things that you might want to look at, such as increasing and decreasing indents, and you might want to look at some of the direction or line spacing. Those are actually easier from right there. Alright, image. This lets you set an image transparency or optimize the image's size. For transparency, you can right click on an image, and you saw something right there. When I click, it's leaving that. This is an example of why you always want to come back over and click select. Now when we select this, right click, then come back, for transparency. Okay, the image transparencies, select the object, click on set transparency, and what this would do is if we import a picture that has colors on it that we don't want, or we want to make it where you can see things around it, click on those areas. Okay, I got rid of all the white that was in that picture there. Tell OK. Move the apple over, and you can see the circle appearing there. Now if I undo this so that you can see what it was like before, you can do that. Image transparency, if we want to get rid of the leaf, move your way through, clicking on all the different parts. And there you have it. One thing is image transparency is really great. You can, if you want to think of it this way, you can do some low-level video editing this way. If I go through and I delete out on a regular picture a group of things I don't want using this, then I go back and I go to under File and Save as PNG. Well, actually, I don't want to save as. I want to export as. Then we can do that under Image Files. And you can use it as a clip art on the outside, which I will show how you can do that. Okay, moving on along with this, under Format, we also come back down through here. You have Image, which we just showed. Page, you can set your background fields, and you can choose your themes. You can do the same thing by right-clicking and using other functions within this. The themes are really neat, as in the creating theme. This is something we're going to get into with Unit 3, so just be aware that this is where it's at. We will come back and revisit this.